My name's Neil Ticktin. I'm the editor-in-chief and publisher of MacTech Magazine. We're here with TUAW doing the interviews of developers at WWDC 2012 in San Francisco, getting an idea of feedback from developers on the keynote, the announcements that Apple made, the impact that it has on them, and also to see what else that they have that's cool going on. Right now we have David McNeely, who's a product manager from Centrify. Thank you for joining us here.
So thanks for having us.
Let's start off with telling people a little bit about what Centrify does and how your products and services help them out.
So we help customers that are enterprise-centric. Usually they're Windows administrators. We help them manage Macintoshes and iOS, iPhone devices, iPads. The whole goal was really centered around enabling the organization to be able to put Mac and Apple products onto the supported platform list.
Right.
Usually that means teaching Windows guys how to manage Macs.
Exactly. Yeah.
But when we first got it started,
for the other 90% of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And what we first found was that a lot of the executives would bring in a MacBook Pro or nowadays iPhones, iPads, and say, "Here, I want to use this." And the IT guy can't say no.
Right.
He has to figure out
find a way to say yes.
Exactly. And so now that what happens is once the execs have those devices and bring them in, then everybody else wants to bring them in. So it's definitely been a good thing for us.
Right. Now you guys have some different elements on the way that you do things. Would you consider yourself more on the deployment side, on the directory side? How would you position yourself on it?
So we don't have a directory, but we do integrate into Active Directories.
Right.
We find that almost 95% plus of organizations have Active Directory in place, already have tools and processes, support guys know how to use it.
Right.
So our focus is to deploy our software onto the Macs, either if it's company-owned or employee-owned, either way. The device joins the directory, and from there you can manage it, just like you would a Windows system. You set up the same kind of controls. We have to teach the support guys how to use VNC instead of RDP, to remote control the systems, at least Macs.
But they pick that stuff up pretty quickly. It's a pretty easy transition to do.
It certainly is.
And one of the neat things about Centrify, as I recall, is just this laundry list of devices and platforms and stuff that you're supporting. I mean, it really is for an enterprise type of environment. Solving what most people need to be able to tackle, whether it's on the Apple side or not.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of our customers are, we end up managing their data centers. So our primary goal was to be able to provide the same kind of user experience that you'd get if you were pure Windows.
Right.
Windows Workstation to Windows Server, you get single sign-on, same account. You usually don't have to type it in anymore. And we provide the exact same kind of capabilities if you're on let's say a Macintosh trying to access a Red Hat server running Apache.
Right.
You get single sign-on,
right.
And that's the goal. So that sort of carries across to the iOS, iPad devices because those become the new interface into these applications.
Right.
As people start developing applications that run on the mobile device, they want the same experience. I should have unlocked the device, and from there I click on an icon and it should go straight into the app. So
they just want it to work.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter how it is. It doesn't matter what platform it is. Just want it to work.
And IT wants it to be secure too. Yeah. So that's sort of where we sort of play both sides of that, making it work.
So what are you hearing from your team, from the folks within Centrify? Because I know you've got people here in San Francisco and whatnot that are about what they're excited about from the announcements in there, and then the follow-on question to that is what of those announcements may or may not have impact on what you guys are doing and overall.
Yeah, so obviously every new release is interesting for us because the experience of the users is that they want to have support for the devices day one, right? So the day that you can go down to the store and buy a MacBook Pro with a Retina display, you're going to want to use the new OS and you want to be able to take it in and use it for work. So day one support, that's absolutely critical for us to make sure we get that. And obviously the new Mountain Lion operating system brings with it a lot of really cool capabilities. A lot of the things that we've seen them do over the last couple of releases with iOS, to provide a much more locked down environment so that we don't have to run antivirus like Windows guys.
Right.
And the system's pretty clean and it protects itself really well. They're moving those kind of capabilities into Mountain Lion.
Right.
And that'll be a huge plus for the enterprise.
Cool.
I think is.
And do you see that being a challenge for you guys to be able to do, or you're feeling pretty good about what you're seeing?
Oh, we're feeling pretty good about it. It's to us, it's yet another collection of settings that we need to use so that IT can turn it on and say yes, it's required. So that applications have to be signed, have to come from authorized sources, that kind of thing. The same thing for iOS 6. There'll end up being more controls as they add new features. They always add the additional controls, and and those just get exposed through the group policy interface as new policy settings that IT can manage.
Right, so you just to go through and make sure that those things are covered, and then you're in good shape.
And in some cases, there's extra work that we could do to make things a little bit easier. Like wanting to provide more mobile device management style capabilities around laptops and that kind of thing.
Right.
And sometimes those do require a little bit more effort than just defining more settings.
Yeah, exactly. A little
so
bit
they're more work for us.
Yeah. Well, David, thank you for joining us in here. I'm glad you were able to take the time to tell us a little bit about what Centrify is doing and whatnot. My name is Neil Ticktin. These are the TUAW MacTech Magazine interviews of developers at WWDC 2012. Thanks for listening.